Welcome back to Travel Big with Jason. To kick off the new year in 2024, my family and I did a 7-day Mexican Riviera cruise aboard the Norwegian Bliss. On this video, I'd love to share with you some of the things that went really well, that we all enjoyed, and maybe some of the things that didn't go quite as expected. The Bliss is one of Norwegian Cruise Line's Breakaway Plus class cruise ships, holds just over 4,000 passengers and 1,700 crew, and was launched into service in 2018. For some, it may sound crazy to travel over the New Year holiday, but for my family and I, there's something about closing out one year, celebrating the victories and accomplishments that we had, and then starting a year fresh, with new goals and new experiences on the horizon. This year, we chose the Mexican Riviera as our destination. Over the course of 7 days, departing from Los Angeles, California, we would visit Cabo San Lucas, Mexico, Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, Mazatlan, Mexico, and Ensenada, Mexico, before returning to our home port of LA. Mixed in with those destinations were 2 full days at sea for us to enjoy all of the activities the ship has to offer. One of our favorite parts of cruising is just sitting on the deck or the balcony in our stateroom to take in the beauty of the water, the clouds, and the approaching sunsets. I've talked to many people who say they have a fear of being on the water in the middle of the ocean, but for me, I can't think of many things I like more about this type of vacation. Before I talk about our first stop in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico, let me just touch on the tendering process on this particular ship. One of the most prevalent pieces of negative feedback that we heard from others on the ship was how poorly executed and stressful the tendering process was. As with all cruises, the tender boarding takes place on a low deck of the ship, but on the Bliss, the staff directed everyone down one set of stairs and one set of elevators to get to the tender, which caused a lot of chaos and a good amount of complaining from guests. Since we heard the feedback and saw the mess as it started, we decided to enjoy our day on board the ship rather than taking the tender into Cabo. Another thing we noticed about this stop was how close everything seemed to be to the ship. We could see excursion boats running right alongside of the ship, and could even see the beaches that we could have booked excursions on from the side of the ship. All in all, we weren't big fans of Cabo, but I suppose everyone has their own likes and dislikes. Our next stop was in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. We had planned an excursion here that I was personally excited to try. It started with a bus ride out to a tequila distillery, which didn't have a lot to see per se, but we're always interested to see different cultures in different places. Once we arrived at the Hacienda Dona Engracia, we embarked on a journey of learning and tasting. Our tour guide explained how tequila is made and the differences between quality tequila and the cheap stuff most people throw into margaritas. I thought of a friend back home who runs a tequila tasting company and how proud of us she would have been for taking the time to learn the differences. After the tequila tasting, we enjoyed a Mexican feast and some live entertainment. It was amazing to watch the dancing people and the dancing horse. I never knew there was such a thing. And my wife even got to participate in a tortilla making contest. After the bus ride back to town, our tour guide took us for a walk down the boardwalk and told us about the culture, the history, and even the statues, like one that was called En Busca de la Razón, or In Search of Reason. From there we walked a bit more and explored a local church, the Parroquia de Nuestra Señora de Guadalupe, which was beautiful. I loved the architecture and the displays of culture and tradition this tour had. We stopped briefly for some shopping and then boarded the ship. One trick we learned early into our cruising journey is that if you take an early excursion, you can get back to the ship early and enjoy some of the ship's amenities while many are still on shore, which is nice as well. Next, we stopped in Mazatlan, Mexico. We took an excursion that included a quick water taxi across the bay, followed by some beach time where you could enjoy the sand, or for a small fee, you can rent chairs and even tables if you like. Lunch and drinks were also included here. After Mazatlan, we had a day at sea. I personally love sea days because to me, vacation is relaxing. So the chance to just wander around the ship, hang out on the deck, or take a nap in the stateroom are all things I look forward to in cruising. We did find a cool model of the ship and checked out the details to see if there were any areas left unexplored. Afterward, I decided I want to go through and check out the dining rooms. There are 2 called Taste and Savor that allow you to make reservations for a table. I'd recommend doing this ahead of your cruise, or you may have to have a late reservation time or may even be waiting a while for a table. To the aft of the ship, you can also find Spice H2O, which is an adults-only deck area. On our cruise, I was a bit disappointed because the hot tubs were all closed and the adults-only deck was pretty dead. We did take advantage of the quiet though to read and enjoy the sunshine before heading back in. My wife preferred to spend a lot of her time on the main pool deck. Servers are available conveniently to bring drinks, and you can find yourself on the deck for a long time enjoying the entertainment without even realizing how much time has gone by. Sometimes they even show movies on the big screen, and for our cruise, it was college football playoff time, so they broadcast the 2 big games on the screen as well. Our final day was in Ensenada, Mexico. This small town's economy is mostly supported by tourism, specifically cruise ships arriving. It's also a shipping port for Mexico, so we saw a lot of container ship activity as well. There weren't really any excursions that interested us, and the port has been changed since COVID, so you have to walk a reasonably far distance to get anything of note. So once again, we enjoyed the benefits of the ship while a lot of people were on shore. This was our first time on a Norwegian cruise, and I have to say that it ranks toward the bottom of our cruise line top 5. From entire areas being closed with no explanation, to super narrow hallways on the Bliss that wouldn't even allow for 2 people to walk by each other without stepping into a little alcove outside someone's room. The ship's design just didn't seem super intuitive. There were a lot of popular events to take part in, from trivia to singing contests to theater quality shows and more, but they seemed to be crammed into tight spots that didn't accommodate the amount of people that wanted to watch. So overall, the ship's usage was just a bit off. This could have been because of the cruise director and staff, or it could be a common occurrence with NCL. That I don't know. I've heard it both ways. The cruise wasn't all bad, but I do like to give an honest review, so I felt compelled to share where we struggled first. But let's leave this video on a good note. There were a lot of things we liked on the ship as well. The Broadway shows on board like Six and Jersey Boys were done very well, and we really enjoyed the Beatles cover band. Interestingly enough, they were from Argentina and sounded just like the real thing when they were on stage. We also saw a couple of comedy shows, and both comedians did a great job as well. We always like going on cruises, and for me it's my favorite way to vacation. We can hang out together as a couple or as a family, and the hotel and all of our restaurants come with us from destination to destination. Nighttime is peaceful as well. I love to watch the wake of the ship and just contemplate our place in the world. And if the mood strikes, maybe we even take in a New Year's Eve party or 2 as well. Thanks for watching. If you don't already, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you can be advised when new content pops up on our channel as well. We appreciate you watching, and remember, why go small when you can travel big?